your four-wheeler doesn't start, huh? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you basic ways to figure out why your machine won't start. When dealing with the no start, terminology is important. So this machine has a crank but no start. That means that the engine is rotating, everything seems to be working, but it still does not start, so something is missing. Fuel, spark, compression, and timing. One of those is missing and we got to figure out which one. Take out one of those four, it's done. Typically you hear of spark, fuel, and compression, but it's got to be in the right time as well. So, turning over, cranking is synonymous. They mean the same thing. I see that a lot on the Facebook forums and such. Says like, my bike's cranking, but won't start, won't turn over, won't fully turn over, that sort of thing. It's like, well, you're contradicting yourself. What's it doing? So this machine is cranking, but no start. So the first thing you want to do is keep it simple. Kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. Check for fuel. That's the easiest thing to do. Did you just run out of fuel? Okay, this one's got a full tank. But you don't want to just check here. You want to check down at the carburetor as well. So you want to find your petcock, make sure that it's on. And then if you have a fuel filter, you can check to make sure that there is fuel going down inside of it. But also you want to make sure that there's fuel going down to the carburetor. Look at that. Fuel's flowing out of her. Now, if you were concerned that maybe fuel wasn't getting into the carburetor, what you could do is back out your screw right there, which would drain your bowl. And that would allow you to make sure that your bowl was at least full. So we have fuel. That's the next. That's a good first step in all no starts. Start with the basics. Keep it simple. Next, let's confirm the issue that the customer is having. Yes, I am using a screwdriver as the key. Only the finest around here. This one has a little bit of wiring issue, so I'm going to jump the solenoid with a big ass screwdriver. Cranky, but not starting. Stand by. Okay. Then you can even check it with the choke on, pressing the gas, that sort of thing. And no difference. And one thing you want to listen for is the bike trying to start. So all that's doing is cranking, right? If you get like exhaust noises where you hear the engine like starting to catch to where it's wanting to rotate faster, that's all signs that your bike is trying to start. So listen for that too, because that means you're getting at least a little bit of fuel, you have spark, you might have a little bit of compression. So the next thing to do to make sure that the carburetor is getting fuel to the cylinder is you can bypass the carburetor by spraying starting fluid or brake clean into the air box. So remove your air filter, or you can spray through your air filter, and yeah, that's not correct, but whatever. Then you take your brake cleaner, starting fluid. If you're using brake cleaner, you want to make sure that it is a flammable brake cleaner, or you're just spraying it in there for fun. But spray it in just a little bit. You want your choke to be off. Hold your throttle wide open. So no change there for this machine. Now, if your bike just started, tried to start, sounded like it was going to, spray just a little bit more brake clean, starting fluid, whatever you're using in there, see if it fires up. If it is, there's something wrong with your carburetor, you need to clean it. Don't just buy it cheapo off of Amazon. Clean what you got. The dirty OE carburetor is 100 times better than any brand new Chinese one you're going to buy. So give it a clean. Sometimes the float sticks to where the needle that moves up and down, just like in a toilet bowl, gets stuck down, so it won't allow fuel into the bowl and then get sucked up. So you have fuel going down to your line. It looks like it's going into the carburetor, but your bowl stays dry. So check that out. So if that's like this one, where that didn't start it, you got to move on to the next step, which is spark. Sometimes spark is very easy to get to, like on this machine. Some, like a YFZ 450, you got to remove the tank cover, the side plastics, and the gas tank just to get down to the spark plug and coil. So let me show you how I check for spark. So like I said, on this machine, it is very easy to access the spark plug, that is. So spark plug, I just remove the wire, and then I keep extra spark plugs around. Obviously, I go through a lot of them, so I have a lot of extra spark plugs, but I keep one around for diagnostic purposes as well. This I'm gonna do is just check for spark. Ground it out to something. I'm gonna use the exhaust there, and then crank your machine. That appears to be some good spark there. So, I have, seemingly, I have spark, I have fuel, because I bypassed the carburetor. One thing you would want to do is check your spark plug, make sure it's free of any debris. So my next step with this one is to pull the spark plug and make sure the spark plug itself is not somehow damaged. And looking how wet it is, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting fuel, I'm getting gas through it. And as long as this spark plug works, now technically you don't have to have a backup spark plug, you can just use that one if you wanted to pull it. It had spark. I don't know if the camera caught it, but it had plenty of spark. So the spark plug is not bad. While it is wet, it would run. So my next step, and this might be where the part where you don't have the right tools, but it's a compression test. Now you can rent compression testers down at like O'Reilly's and stuff, but what I did find is that they don't have the M12 adapter in their rent-a-kits, which is the size you need for most four-wheelers. Now a little bit older use a little bit bigger size, but pretty much all the ones nowadays, starting in the 90s and moving forward, take the M12. I personally have the Speedway Motors kit, the 910-89-448. I bought it off of Amazon. It's been very good. It's got all of the adapters. So let's see what kind of compression we have. We should be looking at anywhere from 120 to like 160. Uh-oh. So it's you always get higher compression when you hold the throttle open, allow more airflow. I believe I have our answer on why this particular machine with spark and fuel will not start. Now, if your compression test indicated good compression and a four-wheeler will start and run, most engines you're looking at like 80 psi is probably a good minimum, and going up. You got to be careful though if you're like a YFZ 450 has a decompression mechanism, because that'll lower the compression while spinning. You got to look it up. Like YFZ, I believe, is anywhere from 85 to 95 with decomp, as long as it's working correctly. Some machines you have to do certain things to bypass it, so you Google around, but for the most part, they should have over 50, even if they got a decomp. So look into that. Now, if yours had compression, check your timing marks. Make sure that it's still in time. Your timing chain could be stretched, jump to gear, something like that. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope this helps, at least point you in the right direction. Kind of basic steps. I understand a compression tester is not always what we have, but if you put your thumb over the spark plug hole and crank it, it should blow your thumb out with enough force. You should not be able to keep it on there. With a little bit, with 10 psi, you're going to feel a little bit on your thumb, but it should blow it off to where you can't keep a good seal to it. That's a quick and easy way just to see what kind of compression you have. So I'm going to be tearing into this. If you have a Bayou, if you want to see that, check out the next video, and we're going to be seeing what's going on with this. Stay tuned.